All right. All and Viata, we're here.
You got me up there by myself.
Woo! All right, we're bringing in the evening with some beautiful drums from our mother Africa, and it is a beautiful night in Florida. It was so beautiful today. Blue skies and puffy clouds and like 80 degrees. Woo! Too blessed to be stressed. How about you? I'm Viata, your holistic life coach, and I'm here with my brother Chief Amun. And how are you this evening?
I'm excellent. I'm feeling it. I've been talking all day.
Been talking all day?
Yeah, I've been in and out of different places, teaching and mingling and things like that. So
And tis the season. Tis the season to let our light shine and to pierce all the confusion and darkness, the doubt and the depression. We are uplifting tonight confidence and self love. So, what have you been seeing and experiencing that you came up with this topic that we need to talk about confidence and self love?
I think a lot of people are burnt out
Mm,
because of that. People that are about the upliftment of us as a people and the betterment of us as a people throughout the years have seen many people come and go, many people misuse people, abuse people, and it has put a bad taste in the mouths of people, but they don't want to keep moving forward. You see, because it's not about one person; it's about everyone, and we almost move forward. You see that, no matter what, each person is a stepping stone. Each body of knowledge is a stepping stone, and we have to keep moving forward. Now, if um, you know, to have knowledge of self, I think that people have to expand their minds and understand that they've been took, they've been going through a lot of things in this society. I mean, to pay a utility bill is actually a scam because energy is free, water is free. Um, to pay for groceries and to it is this whole paradigm, this whole matrix is an illegal fascist type of environment. Is I'm trying to I'm trying not to say certain things, but um, the system or the powers that be that really have no power, they have literally taken advantage of so many different people, scammed so many different people, and they continuously are doing it. They're scamming so many different people. So when we look at um, people and we come across these leaders and stuff, and you see, oh, this one has fallen short, this one has fallen short, that one has fallen short, this one has fallen short. We can't say, okay, well, I'm no longer part of the black movement. Folks, they don't know what they're talking about. You can't trust our people and stuff. That's not true. There's a lot of great brothers and sisters out here that mean well and can help you. You see, and a lot of times our people are looking for excuses anyway because they don't want to do anything. Because it takes work to actually help yourself, and it takes work to help others as well. And they don't want to do the work. They want to sit back in their homes. They have the get out my yard attitude, slam the door, sit back, kick their feet up on the couch, and then watch TV. And the most a lot of times people do, if they want the Black New Science book, okay, you got the Black New Science book, and they'll take that, kick back, put their feet up, and read the Black New Science book, and it's just intellectual massaging, and that's basically it. But getting up off your butt and actually doing something, doing the work, doing the fasting, get out, talking to people, teaching people, giving people answers, not just answers, but things that you can apply. They don't want to do it. So our people have become complacent. Not all. A lot of them are moving. A lot of them are not. You see that? So we're just saying that, like I say, this is not a what must we do type situation. It's a these people over here are doing this. Come join in with them. You see. So our people have to. Uh, they have to understand that knowledge itself is something that you take in, that you process, and that you once you have that, in order to activate it, you have to apply it. Once you apply it, then you have processed it totally into your God essence. You see that? But just to take it in, um, just to take it in. Oh, I'm sorry, I went off.
That's good.
Can
That's
you see me?
better. Yeah, that's much better.
Okay. Yeah. So just to take it in, and listen to things intellectually, you can never ever get to the bottom of anything. You cannot figure anything out. You have to take it in, evaluate it, process it, live it. You understand? And then, who makes the final decision on whether it's true or whether it's not? Your higher self. Intuition is never wrong. Anybody that says intuition is wrong don't know what intuition is. Intuition is the voice of the higher self. It is never wrong, never, ever wrong. And if you're wrong about something, it's just something that you was feeling emotionally, and you have to be able to distinguish between that. And in order to do that, you have to do the work. You have to do meditation, concentration, learn the science of stealing. And that's going into that. I'm touching on that in the a book called The Science of Prayer. I've been working on that book every night. It's coming along very well too. The Science of Prayer, but that's some of the things that I think that our people need to look at. And once you process that and become the knowledge that you have of who you are and your people, not just to say, "Oh, we were the ancient Egyptians, so I have knowledge of self." No, you don't. The pinnacle of knowledge of self cannot even be spoken about. You can only allude to. It's kind of like trying to define God when trying to define the Most High, who has no boundaries. You can only give it attributes. You can only give it descriptions, and that doesn't mean that you have covered 90% of what that thing is or what the Most High is. You cannot even scratch the surface of 1% of what that is. I'm talking about using words. It's an experience. You have to become that. You understand that? And as you go move on the path, how you define and understand the Most High changes with growth. You see, until you totally align. And then once you totally align with the Most High, then that's what they say, open my mouth and I'll put my words in your mouth. Let me allow me to think with your mind and not my own. Allow me to think with your feel with your heart and not my own. You see that? So you would be a walking reflection of the Most High through your personality. But knowledge itself is very important. Reading books is one thing. That's just step one, which covers about 5% out of 100% of things that you need to do.
Yeah, you're saying that people are burnt out. That's kind of what you're observing in your community and your travels, right?
Yeah.
How does that show itself?
It shows itself when you approach people with, like, let's say, a movement that you have going on, like what we have, with the Black Root Science thing and the Amana Village, and people like, am I going to have to do anything? Am I have to participate in anything? And it's like that's such a very negative, low vibrational mindset. And it's a slap in the face to your ancestors who constantly watch over people, and they have names, but people don't have relationships with them. They don't even know the names of an ancestor. But it's a slap in the face to us as a people that's alive for you to say something like that. And we're in this state. Or another thing, people don't want to participate. Well, I don't want to do this, and I don't want to put no money in this and that, because last time I was dealing with a brother. Excuses, excuses, excuses. One excuse after another excuse. But you constantly giving money to the utility company. You constantly giving money to the gas company. You constantly giving money to Chevron gas station. You constantly giving money to the car companies. You constantly giving money to the clothing stores. Is no excuse. You give money, and you telling me that these people in this society and the capitalistic mindset that they have, that they don't scam people every single day, and you know that they scamming you, and you continuously do it. They scamming you even in the market, in the food markets. putting all these chemicals and stuff in food. You don't even know what it is. These long names and stuff. You don't know what it is. You telling me that's not scamming? You telling me they're not scamming you in the medical industry, telling you that they can heal you? Go get these pills, and you take these pills, and now a year later you got side effects and you got things, other complications with your body. That you see what I'm saying? So it's that's why I listen. I listen to what people say when you approach them or when you speak about certain things. You see where they are, and you know that they're dead there. They're the living dead. They're the walking dead at that point. And my thing is, I'm like, hey, let the dead bury the dead. Go forward and die. That's what I ain't got time for it. Let me go to the next person. I can only help those who are living. I can't help the dead.
And that means judgment, and we have to use judgment and discernment to
That's right.
realize that some people don't need to be in our lives or in our village or in our company. It's like, adios, friend. Adios, I love you, mwah. But we are at a place, all of us, where we have to have some really sharp discernment and judgment about who is going to be in our space, who's going to be in our environment. Because as the movie Sinners, the vampire was just a minor part of the movie, but it was a reminder that vampires are everywhere and you got to know them. They ain't going to have blood dripping out of their mouth. There's a vampire is going to suck you. It's going to suck you dry and cause you to have burnout, right? I met I actually was introduced to a YouTuber. It's called A Black Girl in the Woods. I subscribed to her right away. She was burnt out in corporate life, and she made a decision to, I think it's New York, upstate New York. She moved. She sold her house, I think, and moved into the woods with her camper. And her father actually helped her build a new house, a new shed in the woods of New York. Now, how many people do you know would even think about doing something like that when they're burnt out? But what I'm saying, burnout will either get worse if you don't make different choices in your life and change your lifestyle, or it's going to give you a whole new perspective. This woman, you got to check her out. It's called A Black Girl in the Woods on YouTube. She is showing you her life in the woods of New York and living off the grid. So that's a pretty radical decision, but you got to really love yourself and have confidence. My thought as I'm watching her is that, what if somebody comes and tries to kill you? I mean, she's out there all by herself in the woods, nobody around, no houses around her as far as you can see, but she's got this brook that flows in the spring. She's enjoying the plants and the animals, and she's in total peace now, whereas she was burned out in corporate life. And that's what this matrix, this Western lifestyle will do for us. It will burn your ass out, because that's what it's designed to do. If they reduce the population, that's the goal of the people running the matrix. They want to get rid of some of y'all, us, so they have more control. So when you have that knowledge and that awareness that the matrix is not your friend, and this whole system is not going to help you improve unless you go in the woods like this one. And I don't mean physically, because everybody can't do that. But how many of us can mentally, spiritually get out of the matrix and go into the woods? And how about simplifying our life? I think one of the ways to build confidence and get out of depression is to simplify our life. We have way too many hoarders out there. Consume, 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 buying more hair, buying more nails, buying more shoes, buying more. And that's what's going to cause depression, because at some point you're going to realize, this ain't making me happy. I got all these shoes and this hair and these clothes. I'm not happy. So what makes us happy is the question. What I think, first of all, loving yourself and having the confidence, as we're talking about, building that, to know that you are special and you have an assignment, and Chief is going to help guide you in that. A 40-day meditation that we did, if you didn't come out of that knowing your value, then you missed the whole point of it. If you didn't come out of that 40-day meditation loving yourself more, realizing that if you could do a 3-hour meditation for 40 days, not, and even if you didn't do the whole 40 days, you realize how powerful you are, how special you are, how gifted you are to be able to do a meditation and feel like, wow, this is what life is all about.
That's right. Um, that's the first steps to actually have confidence in yourself. Of course, that's the first step. A lot of people are couch potatoes now. They just go home and they just eat, have sex, drink, get high. That's what everything's about. And it's like, well, that right there causes premature aging. It makes the energy field around you very dim. You don't have a bright light. You don't glow. You don't have magnetic. Your magnetic energy is very weak. You see that? So that means that the things that you have, or these bad habits that you like to do, can stop you from accomplishing certain goals that you want, or things that you want in life, of course. But you have to have knowledge. You have to have know who and what you are. If you don't know who and what you are, you don't know where you're going, and it's impossible to actually have a worthy goal. It's impossible to truly know your destiny, because now you're just moving off sensationalism on impulses. You see, and you don't really know where you're going. You don't understand life. So you first have to get to know yourself, and I'm talking about on a very, very deep level, even below. When you look in the mirror, like I said before, you look in the mirror and you stare at yourself, you stare in your eyes, and you look at your face, and you go back to your eyes and look, you feel a sensation as if something in the mirror is looking back at you. That's your true self looking out at yourself. You see what I'm saying? And once you do that, and you have that realization, you take a step from a human to a human being. You see that? You actually have a realization. It's a breakthrough in consciousness. And once you have that breakthrough, you're supposed to build around it and support that, which is what the universal order, the black light, will cover. So it's very important to understand who and what you are, to practice healthy living, of course, because so you can have vibrant energy, so that you can be one of the blocks that fit into the structure of things that has to do with the liberation of our people. There has been many teachers, like what we talked about before, of course, Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Amos Wilson, John Henry Clark, so forth and so on, all these different people that came along. Um, well, and then you have some people that came along that, let's say, people have a bad taste in their mouth about. Oh, they did this, or this preacher, he stole this amount of money and he did this, or whatever. But to throw your hands up and say, I give up on liberation, it's like you're doomed at that point, because we're going through genocide right now and chemical warfare. It's literally chemical warfare. When you start studying the definitions of these words, you realize that you are in the middle of a war, sitting back, chewing on some beef jerky, getting high, drinking a beer while bombs are flying over your head. The bombs, it's a political war, but the bombs and stuff is in the foods. It's in the foods. It's in even the mentality of the people. People don't know how to speak to each other. They don't know how to speak to one another. Our civility, how we communicate with one another, how we address one another with respect, how you address is very, very important. See, those are the things that they need to be talking about on CNN. on these big news stations and stuff. That what's going on around the world? No, we need to talk about household, home training, civility, morality, proper etiquettes, hygienes, and so forth and so on. Those are the things that need to be discussed. That's where the magnifying glass needs to be, because out there is determined by what's in here. And when I say what's in here, I'm talking about even in your household, you know. So if you approach your brother the wrong way or a sister the wrong way, or if you approach your sister and you don't have a vibrant energy field, you can set the wrong tone for the conversation that you're about to have with someone. To be honest with you, if you go on a fast and go on a long meditation and you strengthen your energy field, anything less than that is actually insulting the person that you are communicating with. That's how it was in the enlightened societies. I say that again. If you go on a fast and you go on a long meditation and you strengthen your energy field, you've been eating vibrant foods, fruits and vegetables and grains, and your energy is vibrating. That's the type of energy that you should have, even when an everyday conversation with somebody. Okay? Anything less than that is actually offensive to the person that you're communicating with, and it's offensive to yourself. So we have to be that much more higher than they are in this society with the heights of evilness. We have to have heights of positivity that supersede that and go beyond what they're doing. If they doing evil 24/7, we need to be doing good 48/14. You get what I'm saying? So we have to push this thing in overdrive. You have to go insane when it comes to this. And insanity when it comes to liberation, health, positive thinking, sleep, relaxation, concentration, meditation, spiritual practice, and communion with the Most High. You're supposed to be going insane with that. And that's when you know, when you get to that point, that's when you are a normal human being at that point. And you're going on your way. You're on your way to becoming a supreme being again. You see that?
And then you're going to attract people like you when you raise your vibration. You're going to start attracting the same vibration. The people who want to be do fasting and meditation and go for long walks and exercise and give up the junk food, you're going to attract that. But if you're not doing that, those are the vampires you're going to attract. People who just don't know what to do, they're depressed and all that, and we need some leadership to inspire us like yourself. And I'm looking at this guy in what is it, Burkina Faso. Are you familiar with what's going on over there in
I
Burkina?
love him. I love him. I love President Traore. Yeah, I
I
love
mean,
him.
we all be paying attention because this brother is only 37 years old, I think, and he's got the president of Russia, the Chinese. He's got people protecting him all over, people praying for him. R. Kelly making songs, Justin Bieber. This is a powerful movement going on in Burkina Faso with this young brother who is so articulate and he speaks French, and he is the leader for the global leader that is setting an excellent example. And the United States government, they want to get rid of, for some reason. I don't know what's going on. But politics is all entertainment to me because it's a bunch of lying, psychopathic, warmongering, mostly white males who are so out of touch with the average person, human being. So when we think about Trump and all that, we ought to just want to be entertained. Don't take him seriously, please. People are really been out of shape. Talk about burnout. They call it Trump derangement syndrome because people are making Trump the excuse why they can't move forward. As Section 8, for instance, let's talk about some of the things going on in this country. Trump is changing Section 8. Now, I knew a woman for years was on Section 8, and I'm thinking, why is she on Section 8? She just taking advantage of the government's handouts. But it was convenient for her, and she's older now, and she did have some disabilities. But how about the psychology of adjustments? If the Section 8 is going to be out of your life, you better start making some adjustments. Don't get depressed about it and doubting that you can't make adjustments, because you can. That's why the universe is allowing all this stuff to happen with the Trump administration. But don't get depressed and out of shape about it. It's time for building your village, building support. Look at our Burkina Faso and Ibrahim Traore. Look at what he's doing. The man, he's doing building a whole country, and he's only 37 years old.
Well,
So
the
I
thing is, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Well, 37 years old actually is very grown. Us as a people, we were grown at like 11. You had kings throughout Africa. It's some of the empires that was the biggest empires in the whole world. We were kings when we was 11 and 12. That's actually normal. So it just shows how far out of whack we have become, how far and how spiritually immature that we are. People are in their 30s and 40s and 50s and stuff and still chasing women still chasing men, people getting high, drunk, all this different stuff like this. It just goes to show. And by the time that they figure it out and get it right, it's too late. Now your body is damaged. Nobody wants you. You're in what they call it, and they go to clean it, AA, AA meetings, and people are in rehab and stuff like this. So, that's actually, it was kings like Brother Traore, 37 years old. People was kings at 11 and 12, actually. It's just the type of enlightened societies that we went through, because once you were born, you was taught up until, let's say, around 7, then you went with the men. And they trained you. Like they'll tell you in the village that the average 7-year-old in these initiation paths, they can tell you anything about biology, chemistry, anything. They know everything about the universe, nature, plants, animals, everything. You see that? So, and it's people like that still to this day. They're not in the spotlight. You see, there's no spot. They're not in the spotlight at all. So, and it's something that you was saying about, you was wondering what's going on, or why they want him down. Because if the brother, their worst nightmare is this: if he stands up to them, and he drives them out of his country, he takes over the resources. What they're afraid of is the domino effect. All the other presidents going like, wait a minute, he's succeeding at this, I need to do the same thing. Because the previous presidents of our African brothers and sisters, they looked at the white man as, like he's the ultimate power. I mean, why try to fight him? He can destroy us anyway. So I might as well just be a puppet and just swim in the wealth, and that's how they looked at it. Okay. I don't want to get too deep into that, but so they don't want him to be the example for the other ones, which is exactly what has taken place with the other 2 African countries, as well as Botswana is trying to join in as well. So that's exactly what's supposed to happen, and it's happening right on time, because the gods are orchestrating all of this. This brother was divinely sent. Okay, the gods are working with all of this stuff, because the time of the non-blacks, or the of these whites, their time of rulership has already come to an end. The plug was pulled, according to the elders, as of 2014. That's when you had Mike Brown thing, you had Trayvon Martin. It just shook the whole planet. You see that? And it started a domino effect then on a certain level. So you got many different domino effects. So eventually Africa would secure herself on all the resources, because that will set the foundation for the enlightened ones, or what they call the indigo children, or the indigo people, or the 144,000, or those who are transforming back into deities. You see that? So it's 1914. No, they was given a 100-year extension to 2014. So it's 2014. So the plug was pulled in 2014. So anyway, because Africa has to be secured for the supreme beings, so that we would have the resources to construct the cornerstone of the great enlightened nation to come. You see that? That's very, very important, because the way the planet is being treated right now, and those who are in charge, who wasn't really supposed to be in charge, it's their time has to go. The earth is healing herself, and she would not be able to be successful in the healing if they remain in power. So that's why they got all this chaos and stuff going on, and Trump has got all this tariffs and stuff, because and throwing jabs at different people, other nation leaders, because he can't. If he can collapse the American government now, because of the deficit, if he can collapse it, then they can do. It's kind of like a bankruptcy, but they can't just collapse the American government. They have to do all of the nations. It has to be a worldwide economic collapse, because if they just do America, then everybody pull all the resources out of the United States and stuff like that. So they want to do a worldwide thing, affect everybody. You see what I'm saying? So that's what's happening. But in the end, Africa will be secured. If Africa is secured, that means the resources that we need, what is the platinum, the gold, or whatever, to build all our temples for the future, and the diamonds. I mean, we had diamonds the size of grapefruits. It's diamonds the size of cars that they have never found before. And we always had these diamonds and rubies and stones and stuff like that. We had advanced technologies where we can go look straight through the earth, miles under the crust, and see resources that they can't see. And so everything that they have utilized and all the resources that they have taken is really nothing. They ain't doing nothing but taking resources. They take 1% of resources and shifting to Europe and shifting over here. They still on the same planet. They're still on the same planet. So everything's being prepared. It's like a mother in the kitchen preparing all the different ingredients and stuff. You just can't walk in the kitchen while she got this chopped up and this over there. Nothing is complete yet. But those who have the wisdom and have the eyes and ears that can hear and see can walk in the kitchen and say, "Ooh, boy, she's whipping up a good meal." So we are right. We are in a beautiful day and time. With the brother, and we got to get those other brothers that join in with him. We got to give them their accolades as well, because they're doing a great job to be willing to stand up and kick those people out of their country too. You see, and so some people say he's selling out. Oh, well, he dealing with Russia or whatever. Well, you just play monkey bars until we're able to stand on our own as a world power. And what I love is this. I'm gonna say this in relation to talk is that I like how he's doing something, and you see how it affects Black people way over here. It just shows the connection that we all have. You see that? It shows that connection. That's what I really like, and it just goes to show that it don't matter where we are on the planet, we all family. You see that? No matter what, and even the so-called Moors that are looking at, oh, we're not Africans, we're Moors. They too have to take their hats off to their brother, and everybody else that's doing their job, because they just got the camera on him, but there's people that the camera's not on. You see that, and so we take our hats off to them as well.
Well, and there's rumor that Trump is getting ready to declare Palestinian as a separate state of its own and go back to 1967 borders, as a rumor. So things are happening. Things are happening, and again, we just got to look at this political scene as entertainment for now. But hey, let's just pray for Ibrahim Traore and just keep this momentum going, because when we see something like this special person who has such an anointing on his life, and these presidents are trying to support him, then we ought to join in, because what he's doing is so needed and positive, and breaking that colonialism hold that has been there for way too long on all over the place. I mean, even in this country, we got colonialism energy working. So it's all a period of consciousness being raised right now everywhere. Like you said, the domino effect is that it's even affecting us over here and across the waters. People who are on the internet watching YouTube. The only way you would really know about what's going on with Ibrahim in Burkina Faso, is that you watching YouTube. That's the only way I know, is that I'm watching all these YouTube reports about him, and he's very popular right now, and they're reporting on what's going on. So you have to get away from mainstream media. I don't even think they're talking about him on mainstream media. I don't watch any of those, but I don't think he's really being discussed on there because they don't really want him to succeed. But let's look at some of the comments here. We got a lot of people in the chat, so we want to acknowledge
I
you
was
because
just sending some things in there. That's what I said.
you sent some things in there. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
we got.
I typed some things. So
Oh, you've been typing in here too. Okay.
yeah, that was me typing in there.
Okay. So David's here. Dumoulin, greetings. Thank you, David. And Black. Oh, that's you. Okay, I see. Hey, brother David. Okay. True Blacklight. Hey, brother David. Kirby Gordon. Peace to the room. Thank you, Kirby. Greetings to everyone. We hope that you enjoy. Okay, that's from you. Greetings. Okay, we got that. Black greetings to everyone. DFMIM, peace family. Thank you, DF. Uh, we hope to relight that burnout light that you once had within you. Yeah, this is a season to light up your consciousness, your awareness of who you are. Self love. Fly, as I call it on Friday. First, love yourself. It's all about you now. Loving yourself, taking better care of yourself, and then that's what you're gonna attract. The love you put out for yourself is gonna be more love from other people. If you have any questions, just ask. I know Kwame was asking about call-in number. Just call my cell phone number. If I text him, if you have my cell phone number, just call in if you have want to make a comment. And Amanugi says, AKA Abdul, peace all, and enlightened being, peace in lovely Thomas, greetings, greetings family. Olivia Mazion, Tanisha Thompson, greetings. Thank you, Tanisha. Greetings, Tanisha. Okay, that's you. So I'm glad you're answering some of these, right?
Mm-hmm.
Moon. Okay, so comfort. Okay, living a live life. He says comfort is the new God. You're not kidding. That's why people are so sick, because the food is all about comfort.
Yep.
It's not nourishment. It's not nourishment. It's about comfort for most people. Um, Otherwise, you'd be drinking some carrot juice and wheatgrass juice if you're sick. I was on a cancer seminar, a cancer meeting earlier this evening, and there was a man on there who had cancer 50 years ago, and his story was really fascinating because he had at 50 years ago he was told he had cancer. He went to the Mayo Clinic up in Minnesota, and they did surgery on him for, I don't know, I think he said 5 hours, and then he got a letter or a message from his pastor that told him, you got to leave that place, leave the Mayo Clinic, because they were ready to start chemotherapy on Monday and all the other poisons. And his pastor told him, you got to leave that place and go to Mexico. So that's exactly what he did. He left the Mayo Clinic, no chemo, no radiation, and he went to the Mayo Clinic, and he went to Mexico, had colonics and raw 80% raw diet for 21 days. and all the other therapies that they offer. But mainly, he was having colonics every day and raw, 80% raw. So when he left there, the director of that clinic said, "Now listen, I'm looking for your support to keep this lifestyle up because people need to know that this is what will heal their cancer." 50 years later, that cancer has not come back. And he said for 5 years, he was 80% raw in his diet. So that's discipline that, like you said, comfort is the new God. If you don't have discipline and get rid of the comfort and the new slavery, he says, comfort is the opposite of the struggle. The institution of slavery was never abolished. Yeah, you'd say that. You got that right. And then Lynn Jones, Shalom Family, Living a Live Life, Good Teaching. What's the calling? Okay, Kwame, you're on the line. Your mic is open. Go ahead.
Yeah, and good evening, Sister Viyahta, and good evening, my brother Ru. I'm very honored that, on this second night of the full moon, the flower moon, with moving into the next moon of the sun coming into the summer solstice. These energies are needed because the thing that we're needing to know is bringing things to light. And this is what this conversation is. I'm hearing from this conversation is these things to bring into light, because everybody's talking about the film Sinners and what it's depicting. But in the part of it is, if you take the S off of it, what does it say? The inner. We have to start looking within, and this is where we begin, because we're on the earth. And in the word earth is the word hear, and it's also the word ear, and the word heart, and the tear. All of those words are in the word earth. And what we're having to do, we're up on this earth. And as we say, in earth as it is in heaven, the heavens is the Milky Way that's up over us. That's why I say we need an overground railroad in reconnecting, because we're having what we call the solar maximum. And these are winds that are coming off of the sun and sending energy to this earth and to the planet surrounding this earth, that is causing the activation of a different consciousness and activation of these dormant genes that are in us, if we can get out of our toxic self. And this is where you're talking about the brother going down in colonic, is because you got to remove all of that bile that's been built up in your colon. Over the years, we build up and build up and build up, and we don't know how to clean ourselves. We think we do. I went to the bathroom twice this week. No, if you understand, when you feed a baby, as soon as you give it the milk, the next thing you got to do.
We know that's bad. Twice this week.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, when you breastfeed the child, the next thing you know, you got to change the diet, because it's supposed to release, go in, nourish, and release. And this is not what we're doing. And we're allowing people, and my brother Ibrahim in Burkina Faso, he's bringing us the information, but Patrice Sume, Spirit and Water, and his wife that were both here, they were both sent from Burkina Faso.
Oh, really?
Of initiation. Yeah, they've had lectures, and Patrice Sume and Sambofu Sume. They're both ancestors now. They were here teaching. He was taking men on men retreats and doing back to nature. She was teaching woman healing. She's been here. I met her a few times here in Georgia. And both of them were here, but they turned around and they had to get rid of them. Why? Because they were teaching initiation. They were teaching initiation. This is what the brother was speaking about, the young man at 7. This is where you began, because the first 7 is that you become a fetus. You're an embryo. Then the first 7 months is that you develop the body that you're going to come out and use on the planet. The next 7 years is you develop that body and become the person. And then the next 7 years, you're getting ready to become a reproducer. This is the power of 7. We have lost the connection of our humanness. And what we're moving from a Homo sapien to a Homo spiritus, the thing that we have to go with it is how is our body, how is our heart? That's why I said you have to look at the word earth, because the heart is the seat of the will, and the heart is never going to lie. If it does, it's going to attack you and say you had a heart attack because you're not using the energy properly. So we're looking at, and I thank my brother for coming on and giving the knowledge as a young person, because why is it that everybody's focused on Africa? 70% of 18 to 35-year-olds are on the continent of Africa. On this planet, 70% from 18 to 35, the largest population is on the continent. And what do they want? They want the mines and the consumerism. And that's why they implemented the extraterrestrial fiber optic, where they're running cables to Africa and to the South Americas. This part of the Pope and this reawakening of him being an Augustinian, and what St. Augustine was a black saint. And then him being the 14th Leo the 13th was the Pope for labor and capital. Francis aligned him as his second. And Francis was the first Pope that came from the South America. All of this has already been put into design, because when he came here, and the brother was just speaking, 1914, he came in 2014. He came to America. He was the fourth Pope to come to America in 2015, and he implemented the 10-year plan that we're in right now before he left here. See, with the Opus Deus is in action. I asked people to study the Opus Deus because they showed you in the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons what is coming with the Catholic Church and what they're wanting to implement, and national Christian. And this is what Elon Musk and Vance has been put in place to do for that generation, because Trump is just a puppet. He's just another Ronald Reagan. He's doing the acting of the money man. So it's time for us to check our minds. Your mind is your first mind is in your heart. Listen to your heart. Listen to with the ear in your heart, and hear what is being spoken in the vibrational frequency of your inner. That was the movie was for. It was to tell us about the inner.
Yeah, I think a lot of people miss that. But, the people are watching that movie 3 and 4 times. Every time I go to YouTube, somebody said, I watched Sinners for the 4th time, and this is what I saw that I didn't see the third and second time. And I just laugh and say, wow. And white folks are loving this movie. I saw one European woman who watched Sinners. She said, I got out of that my ancestry, the importance of knowing my ancestors. And she went on, and it gave me chills to hear her talk about her own ancestry was stirred up by watching a movie with mostly African Americans in it, but it stirred up in her the value of knowing who your ancestors are. So, Chief Amun, you got any comments at this point?
Well, listening to what the brother's saying, that that's why I always speak about sorry about that, fine-tuning yourself. You have to constantly fine-tune the brain, fine-tune the nervous system in the body, and you do these things by understanding, practicing concentration and meditation, prayer, but not in a sense of I pray to Jesus Christ, but prayer is it's a divine communication with your inner self. Okay, or other divinities. So these things are the foundation in which people have to incorporate into their lives. Many people are too lazy, even in the so-called conscious community. They're too lazy to do this. So only thing they like to do is intellectual masturbation. That's the only thing that they're into. What they know, what they can find out, how good they sound, and so forth and so on. You have to take this stuff and apply this stuff to your life. Then we can say that you actually know a thing. and it actually keeps the brain sharp, it keeps the mind sharp. So that, and the reason that you need to have these things sharp is because you have certain sense. When you say that you're very conscious, the glands in your body works with consciousness. The glands in your body works with the electrical impulses, but it's not just electrical impulses. It's etheric or ether impulses, light impulses. It's electric impulses and magnetic impulses. You see that? So when you eat something, if you eat some cabbage, you're eating 7 different states: solid, liquid, gas, ether, light, electricity, and magnetism. These things need to be balanced within the body so that the brain will work properly and your perception will be even higher. You have a greater insight. You have better discernment. You see that? But you have to have the proper foundation. And this has to be a lifestyle. If it's not a lifestyle, if you don't have a lifestyle, which is literally a culture, then you got some problems. You're not going to be able to, even in the conscious community, even if you're for, the people, you're not going to be able to participate in the new wave of, we'll call it the new mental wave that will be in the future. Because right now, the genetics that open up. We got 12 strands of DNA, and each DNA has 12,000 creative aspects. This information is not coming from here. This is what they're teaching in Africa amongst the elders, like the Dogon, the Bakatla, the Zulus, so forth and so on. They teach that we have 12 strands of DNA, and we have 12,000 creative aspects. We only have been using 2 strands of DNA for the past 6,000 years. As of 1911, the spiritual counterpart of those DNAs, which is the other 10 that was sleeping, started to reawaken one by one over a period of in cycles of 7. You see what I'm saying? Over a period of 49 years. So in 1961, in the spring equinox, March 21st, then the physical strands began to, for those born in that year, on that year, at that time, those physical strands of DNA began over a period of in cycles of 7 to 49 years, taking you all the way to like 2010. And but it's a blend because you got 2007, you got different cycles that's overlapping each other. You see what I'm saying? So at age 49, you have people born in that year. They're the first genetically different people after 6,000 years, and they have all 12 strands of the DNA vibrating. If they have lived a wholesome life, you see, if they lived a wholesome life, proper diet and so forth and so on, because you can go back to sleep too, you see. So all the babies that were born after the year 2010 onward, they automatically born with 12 strands active. And I have to say this because people keep getting this confused. We're not saying that you don't have 12 and the babies are born with 12. No, everybody, all Black people physically have 12 strands of DNA. It's just that they were not active. We're saying that the babies, according to the elders of the tribes, that these DNAs come out active. They're put to sleep by parental indoctrination. Oh, my child is crying because he wants a piece of candy and some pancakes. So mommy goes out and get him and puts the poison in the child's body. And that's what we got to really look at and come down on the sisters to make sure that they know and understand the science of dieting, not just eating the proper foods, knowing when to eat these foods, how much to eat, how to combine these foods. You see that all these things need to be implemented. And the first step in implementing these things, you have to implement them with yourself. You see that? And so so that's what the brother was talking about. There's energies that are sweeping, according to the elders in Africa, what they call Planet X or Nibiru is manipulating the energies of the sun. Is manipulating the energies of the sun to change the atmospheric content, the gaseous content, because the new genetics when Billy Carson was talking about, they found underground temples a mile under the pyramid. What he didn't talk about, he probably mentioned this before, I think he did. What the elders say, that they already told us they already mentioned that back in 2003, actually. But the elders, but in these huge temples in a mile under the ground were 144,000 sarcophagus. This concept or this number bled over into religion, because they did this what about around 7,000 years ago. They had these bodies now, these giants in these sarcophagus, and that number bled it seeped into religion and the concepts and things like that. So now if you mention 144,000, they're going to think, oh, this is Christianity, and you're just talking about some religious stuff. No, that was the number of our government body. So we had a government body of 144,000 who were the assistants to chiefs on the planet, who were numbered 144. Half of them were female, half male. And then the 24, what they call them 24 elders, half of them are female, half male. Now, these 24 elders, the oldest is over 700,000 years old and look no more than 25 to 28 years old with white hair because of the age. It said once we reach around 100,000 years old, our hair started to turn white. But under that 1 mile under the pyramids, those sarcophagus is where those bodies have been for 6,000 years. They're not all filled. They're not all filled. Only about 30, a little over 30,000 are down there now. The 110 or more thousand have already resurrected. And these people that are resurrecting in those bodies are what you call supreme beings or the gods. And guess what? They are in these bodies walking around. Some of them don't know who they are, some do. And these bodies are not up for grabs, meaning that a person who left that body behind began to incarnate consecutively throughout the 6,000 year period. They began to incarnate over time. And, in various incarnations, a lot of these people had strong personalities. Many of them were kings and queens and things like that, or noblemen and so forth and so on. All of them black. There's no such thing as non-blacks in these bodies. But the way these bodies look, they were described to by the elders is that they are on average, the males are on average 7.5 feet tall, the females are 7 feet tall. And they don't have any clothes because they have I don't know if you would call it a double aura. So you have the aura, but they have a physical thick light around them. And this gave the impression of a robe. It's not a robe, it's just pure light. And they can extend it out or contract it in. But these are the gods. And so, according to what the elders was teaching, is that by 2050, all will be resurrected. And by 2060, they began to recopulate with that gene pool, not this flesh two-strand DNA bodies, but the bodies of the deities from that gene pool, those supreme being, or what we call long-lived bodies. And they'll repopulate the planet until it reaches a number of 1,000,000,008,000,000. And according to them, about 900 years from now, there will not be one Chinaman, Japanese, there will be not one Puerto Rican. Nobody will be on the planet but black people by 3000 AD. And that's what they teach. That's the information coming from the tribal elders.
Well, I like what Lynn Jones. I like what Lynn Jones and Lynn Jones is emphasizing the importance of what you just said. She says it's so important presently that we seek knowledge, the knowledge we're talking about here tonight between you and Kwame and all the 144,000. I'm going to say something about that. That we seek knowledge and truth that is not convoluted by the ways and religions of the world. So in religion, we were taught that 144,000 was a certain group of people, and those are the people who are going to be saved and be carried up into heaven, whatever. But I recently did a show on the 2nd of this month where the sacred geometry that has been revealed, which is everywhere in the planet, shows us that the number 144,000 adds up to 9, And in every chakra, there's a number that adds up to nine, I think it's 900 or 44, 144,000, all the way up to the crown. It adds up to 104, with the crown chakra being 1,000 and all the lower chakras adding up to 1,000 plus the 144,000. So what, all this energy that you're talking about with the chakras and the numbers, it again, it goes back to what Kwame said, going inside to realize the kingdom within us. That Lin is saying we got to come out of
I'm
the
glad you brought that up.
Go ahead.
I'm glad you brought that up about the numbers and add up in the crown system and things like that. Because when we talking about 24 elders and 144,000, it is true that the nerves can equal this many. You have magnetic particles in the brain and so forth and so on. However, the law of correspondence spoke about as above, so below as above. All things are reflections of each other. Just like when we're talking about the tribes of Israel, which it wasn't no such thing as, they didn't call it Israel. It was a different name. There were 12 tribes. 10 were captured. 2 did not get captured. One of the 2 were the Dogon people, Dogon of Burkina Faso, and the Dagara, which is actually one person, one tribe. But if you look at it, when that happened to us from within, over a period of, let's say, 50,000 years ago, coming down through Lemuria, Atlantis, and Tuckerhunton, these ancient cities, and even in India, ancient black cities, we purposely cut off 10 strands out of 12 strands of DNA. We purposely did it. Later on, 10 tribes out of 12 were captured. So you can see how what goes on within starts, it manifests outside. That's what the elder was talking about. Sure, there's 12 cranial nerves, and they have counterparts, 12 counterparts, which makes 24. But we mirrored everything. In our government system, we had 24 elders. It's a physical system, not spiritual spooks. 24 elders. Each elder had 12 assistants, 12 times 12, 144 chiefs, and then each one of them had 1,000 assistants, making it 144,000. And they kept up with the flow of, they would calculate history on the planet as well as the universe to keep up with the flow of the becomingness. In other words, us as the people, we are eternal people. So being an eternal people, in those bodies, our memories were supreme. We could remember the very beginning of this particular universe accordingly, which is 78,500,000,000,000 years old. For 1 trillion years, we decided to how we're gonna manifest things. These are subject matters that a lot of people cannot follow because they're so caught up in modern terminology, spirituality, new age spirituality, and so forth and so on. And it makes it very difficult to speak about ancestral wisdom like this. But so they keep up with the flow of the universe, and they keep up with the what we call solar biology. Our parent planet being the Sirius star system, the Earth in the Sirius star system. That's our parent planet, and it was a system before that one, that and our grandparent system. But these things that we talk about are not symbolic of what's going on inside of us or what's inside of us. They literally existed. We mirrored our society by what's inside of us. So that's why we say that we actually manifest numbers, and then everybody that have a beginning or were created like the non-blacks, when they study what we manifest, they call it mathematics. When they study the numbers, they say, oh, these are mathematics, and we're studying these numbers. But we learn these numbers by studying ourselves, because when we study ourselves, we see the totality of what's on outside of ourselves. We are not the same underneath our skin. We're totally different. This is not racism. This is science. We're totally different. Our brain may look the same from a distance, but when you look at functionality of our brain, it's totally different. We act different, we talk different, we walk different, the rhythm is different, the spirituality different, our spiritual anatomy is 180 degrees different. Everything is totally different. We don't even process information the same way, which is what explains, they say, well, why is it that it's different trend lines when it comes to education? I'm not talking about systemic racism and driving black families. I'm talking about when you have a group of black people that got the same shot as non-blacks inside of the school system, there are patterns of learning when it comes to us, and there's patterns of think and learning when it comes to them. You just go. I'm trying to say is that there's a difference in our anatomy. It's a difference in the anatomy when it comes to us on all levels.
Well, you've got a lot of melanated people today who have been in a spell, put in a spell, who are not able to manifest that greatness. So, because they're wearing wigs, nails, eyebrows, eyelashes, and all, they've been put on this spell that they need to be
Can't
different.
hear you.
You can't hear me? Oh, what happened? Can you hear me, Kwame? Can you hear? I know you can hear me, Kwame.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I'm gonna read what Lynn said. Lynn says, gratitude, my sister. May I add that our people cannot be afraid. There's that fear to align and acclimate ourselves with a new thing and be the leaders, aka the light of the world. That's a mouthful there, because there's so much in what she's saying. The fear that a lot of melanin people have, that they're not good enough. The self love is not there. There is too much of that
They're
going
not
on.
good enough.
They're not good enough. Why would you put on a blonde wig if you're good enough? Why would you need to spend money on all these polyester clothes, fashion, blah blah blah, if you're good enough? This is what I mean. I see this, so it just bothers me to the point where I have to talk about it and help the brother sisters especially. And then you got the brothers out there, they shaving off their hair. They don't want to have the natural nappy hair. A lot of brothers are bald because whatever, not good enough. The baldness is representing some. I had this brother tell me, well, I have a receding hairline, so I don't want to have that receding hairline, so I just shave it all off. So there's actually evidence we're seeing, and then the behavior follows where they have lost their minds. Some of these areas, the hood, the ghetto, they've lost their minds. And so what she's saying, the fear to align with who you really are naturally is there. Acclimate ourselves. The new thing is wigs in the black community. You can, and especially in Hollywood, if you have melanin
Yep.
stars in Hollywood, everybody's wearing a wig, and I rarely see. New Lupita Nyong'o is the goddess of Hollywood. She's the only sister wearing her natural hair and like a queen. That woman is special. You know who that is, right? She was in Black Panther.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sister is the queen. I love seeing her because she was just in the Met Gala, whatever this parade of costumes was recently, and she walked up there with her natural hair, wearing her garment like a queen. But you don't that she's such a minority, especially in Hollywood, and then in the black neighborhoods, everybody's got to have a wig on, and the blonde was really throw me off.
Yeah.
It's like, so when she's talking about a
Yeah.
fear,
They
it's
have these wigs on in
fear, the fear to align with who you really are in your soul and acclimate yourself, be the leader and the light of the world. You cannot be the light of the world with all the stuff that they putting on their head and their nails, and the light is dimmed, gone, it's not out. And then you wearing plastic this, plastic that. We're here to encourage you to take that wig off and be aligned with love and compassion for yourself. And then you will shine and prosper and attract what you need in this world, which is protection from the Most High. These wigs are causing women to lose their protection. The spirit showed me that so clearly one night. I think I was on the show, that these wigs that they're using, they're losing their protection. And then you see on YouTube all these people dying and being killed with their wigs on, where there's no protection. Sisters, wake up, take the wigs off, and then your protection will be there, and you can do anything. You become the light of the world when you take off the matrix and the material things. But it's lost right now. We got a lot of people who are in the dark. No, the light has been dimmed, but if you take the
Yeah,
wig, go ahead. So we are going to wrap it
yeah,
up.
it's kind of choppy. I don't know what's going on. Um, I was just gonna say that it also shows a lack of self confidence, which shows some form of self hate, materialistic and imbalanced characteristics. You know, like what is that show? Atlanta Housewives. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
very toxic, and a bunch of women has got like what they call trans makeup. It's ridiculous. The things that they talk about, the examples that they're setting for other women is watching that. Anytime you get in the spotlight, you actually have that responsibility. You actually have a responsibility at that point to your people, to yourself actually, and to your people, and you're representing your family. So the way that people carrying themselves, cursing each other out and all this crap, and it's like it. See, that's what people got this thing where they keep talking about black women. Black women, 75% of black women are not married, and it's rising and things like that. And they say, well, that's why that right there. However, it's not about bashing anybody. It's us as a people identifying our issues, looking at certain issues. We've got many issues amongst us. To identify an issue is not bashing. We're saying, hey, we have to approach this thing with love and to find out what we got to do and so forth and so on. And people are already doing it. And that's why the sheep are being separated from the what they call the sheep separated from the lamb. You see that? You see, so uh
Somebody,
I'm sorry, sheep separated from the goats. So that's
yeah.
what's going on.
Somebody said earlier, Trump was a boogeyman. Let me see. Oh, living a live life. Yes, Trump is a disruptor, so we can have healthy conversations about what's wrong and what needs corrected. Stop looking at Trump as the problem. He's not the problem. That man was anointed to be the disruptor, narcissistic uh leader of the United States. And right now they're like praising him in Saudi Arabia and all over. He's a disruptor to help us see what has been the problem all along, and now we need to talk about it and solve our own problems. We are the solution. As Chief is saying, we're the solution, but we've been so distracted by the Matrix and Hollywood and all these actresses and singers and Beyonce and blah, 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 blah. We gotta turn the TV. As what did Kendrick Lamar say? Turn the TV off. Turn the TV off, and get into the idea that they're not like us. So stop trying to wear the wigs and all that. They're not like us. So take the wig off. We need to be our own queens and kings and goddesses. Stop trying to be like them. They're not like us. And that's part of the problem. So it's time for us to realize this. All this politics is just entertainment. Don't pay no attention to the Trump, the man behind the curtain, and just build this goddess kingdom with that we have within us, so we can take over. They waiting for us to take over, but it's a slow process. I'm telling you, slow process. But we're here to
Yeah, it
inspire
is.
self-love, encourage self-love, confidence. Be confident in your melanin queen royalty, because that's what's going to change this world. They're waiting for us melanin folks to wake up and take over. Oh, but it's a journey. It's quite a journey. Don't doubt it. Just believe it. That's what we're here for. No, don't be depressed. If you're depressed, you need to be hugging trees and going out there, hanging out with the birds and the bees. That's what it leave. Your depression will leave you. Go outside, nature. It will heal your depression. Go for a walk, long walk, and breathe in fresh air. Fresh air. So we want to end tonight with a short meditation, um, so that we can all take this in. Let's see, we got God in person, the inner God. I got gratitude, my sister. Yes, we got slave master. We got that. And then Kwame says, uh, UNIT enabled state. UNIT enabled state. So this is what our meditation.
United States is UN and United States. You're enabled. You put yourself in an enabled state of mind when you unify with this country.
Yeah, but right now it's divided states of America. Ain't nobody, hardly anybody unified. We are the divided states on every issue. You can be sure we're going to be divided on. But we come here as a family of conscious believers in our power in ourselves. So we come here to raise the unity energy, harmony energy, and remind ourselves how great we are, really, how great we are. So thank you all for joining us, and keep up this collective raising of consciousness. And things are happening. People are really waking up. I see it every day, but then I get distracted with the blonde wigs. Oh my goodness.
Could I could I share one thing that
Yes.
the brother was speaking, brother who was speaking of?
Go
and
ahead.
This is something in the level of frequency, because you and him are doing this show. When you speak, your vibration goes out across this planet, and it deals with 72,000 people. When he speaks, his energy goes out and it radiates with 72,000 people. When you put two or more together, and that's what they say, well, two or more together, there I am. So guess who? 72,000 and 72,000 is how much?
144. Yeah.
Thousand.
Yeah.
What we do when we come together with these energies and speaking truth to power, that amplifies what goes out. That's why there's such technology now, is to amplify and distort what's coming from above. And what they're doing is trying to put up an interference field to causing people to not be connected. But that's why the sister went and upstate New York and went back into nature, is because through the mother's energy and through what's coming down from above, combined, we energize and rebirth ourselves.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brother Kwame. Chief Amun, you're back. You have any final words before we meditate?
I know that that the journey continues, and there's no excuse not to participate in full circle. What in it concentration, meditation, and things like that. That stuff has to be implemented into a person's life. This thing is very practical, and if you're not doing that, then you cutting yourself short.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm putting in the chat, reminding people watch.
And I appreciate the the words
Uh,
of the brother.
I'm putting in the chat a reminder to watch the YouTube show "A Black Girl in the Woods" for inspiration to simplify and edify your life. I subscribe to her channel because her lifestyle is just so simple and so healthy, and just it was so inspiring to just watch her build this, first of all, build this community, and then she's out there all by
Can you hear me?
herself. Yeah, I can hear you. So we're gonna take we're gonna play some kaya uh music for about 2 or 3 minute meditation, and you please, you're welcome to close your eyes and just enjoy the sounds from this meditation and take in the truth that you've heard tonight and let it become part of your actual cells in your body. So that meditation is scrolling across the screen. It's on YouTube. I'll send you the link, Kwame. And I want to just thank all my yogi friends out there. Namaste and Sat Nam. And everybody, please have a good week. Tomorrow, let's see, Thursday, I'm interviewing an amazing woman who lives here in Orlando. She's a medical doctor who transformed into holistic lifestyle and holistic medicine. And so she's going to be on my show on Thursday. So thank you all for being here, and everybody have a great week. Keep shining your light. Shalom.